What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name After Sound. And I do have a new song out recently called Tides, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, let's talk about the company's DEC holdings. And I know you're probably tired of these videos, and to be honest, I'm a little tired of making them. But I like having them just as a point of reference so that I can always go back and see where were we trending at this point in time in history. So I'm going to make one now, especially because it's so far out and there's so many unknowns, but it'll just be interesting to put a date out there into the ether. So we will see how we trend against that over the next, I guess it's almost like 6 months at this point. So as you can see here, the company is sitting on 1.181 billion DEC, which shows, actually, I mean, they got an infusion of like 1.2 billion and we're already below that, right? They actually had a little bit more before that, out of the 1.2 billion, and we're already below that. So we are still seeing credits come into the mix. We are still seeing the company pay out DEC on the back end, which is phenomenal, right? So there still continues to be activity. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the math off screen, but you can follow along with what I'm doing. 1181 divided by, what's it going to be? 40, right? So 40 million per week. So 29 and a half weeks. Now 29 and a half weeks times 7 days per week puts at 206. We'll just say we'll round up to 207 days from today. I'm recording this on September 16th. So let's see here. What is 207 days from today?
It's Saturday, April 11th, 2026.
Saturday, April 11th, 2026. So why did I go through that whole little exercise? Well, it's because I'm trying to figure out when the company is going to run out of DEC again. Now, keep in mind, there's several things that could help with this over the next couple of months. Now, obviously, the company's sitting on this DEC. They're going to be using it to pay out back-end credits transactions, or, well, actually, not just or, but and a big part of those transactions, I believe, could be the sale of Conclave Arcana. Now, we also have the sale of the mini set, but keep in mind the team's not getting any DEC from that, right? So any of that's going to be just DEC that's bought off the marketplace. You can see here that there's like at least 300 million currently sitting in pools, and DEC is sitting at like 30% below its peg. So there is more than enough DEC already out there in circulation, and the team's going to dump another 1.2 billion. Sorry, they're not going to dump it, but that DEC is going to get recirculated back out and probably dumped, and we'll see what kind of impact that has on DEC. But obviously, the more we get locked up in the Dow during this upcoming mini set sale, again, the sale it might be in DEC, it might be in SPS, depends on where the pricing is for both. That's not really going to impact the rest of the flywheel conversation that we like to have here. Really, it comes down to if people are going to buy the core set, and specifically if they're going to buy the core set with credits, right? Because then the team will have to take 2,000 DEC for each standard pack, for example, and send it over to the DAO, right? All that stuff is automated. So if we see a massive influx of players for whatever reason, right? And I'm not going to get into all the reasons because we've talked about that at length, but marketing and blah 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 and crypto and bull run, yada yada. So if we see that happen, that could pull up the date significantly, right? We're talking about April 12th, right? So that could happen. If we see any kind of significant increase on land, right, that could be another area in which we see maybe people coming in and start buying land. Again, this is not about like market activity and DEC demand, because I'm not talking about land as in like, oh, we're going to get more land plots online, so therefore, we're going to soak up DEC off the marketplace. That's not touching company DEC. Like I said, there's still a lot of DEC out there in the ecosystem. So what I'm getting at is if people come into the game or people are here in the game and they're just like, I want to get into land or I want to get more into land, and they start buying more land with credits, right? Again, credits is going to be the main thing here because that's how the company recirculates that back in. So the faster we actually get it out of the company's coffers and into the ecosystem, the faster they will start to buy it. But 6 months, like 6.5 months at this point. Actually, really like 7 months. It's only mid-September. So 7 months between now and 7 months. Keep in mind, I believe the Conclave Arcana sale only goes until March of next year, which means if you have like a 3, maybe 5 month period of like no packs available, or between the core set and the next core set, I'm thinking that the next core set will probably come like mid to late, what's that called, 2026. So at that point in time, the team could once again come in around April when they start running out of DEC and say, hey, we're going to make another core set, right? We're going to make, whatever comes after Conclave Arcana, we need another 600 million, 700 million, 1.2 billion, whatever it is that they decide, right? Based on that. So in thinking through this, like I said before, this just continues to recirculate DEC out into the ecosystem. And they have a nice little system set up of just continuing to get it every 6 to 12 to 18 months whenever there's a new core set, whenever there's promo cards, whenever there's even like a mini set. So the only thing that's going to offset this is if the DAO is able to get enough stable coins where it makes sense to actually pay the team in stable coins. But even still, I do wonder if the team would always prefer to have some kind of DEC. So again, I don't know what the solution is for this. I'm just kind of like, thinking out loud here with all the different numbers that we're talking about. But that's where we're at. April 12th, 2026 is when the team is set to run out of DEC again. Hopefully it ends up being sooner due to any kind of bullish markers within the game, or any kind of optimistic frameworks that we have when we think about Splinterlands over the next 6 months. But at that point, will the team then go in for more from the DAO, which is still sitting on almost another 2.2 billion? I really want to make a video where I say we should just burn all the DEC in the DAO. That should never come back out. But I think there is a use case for it right now. Sadly, I don't like the use case, but and this is not me trying to hate on the team in the process. It's just I understand. I made that video saying like they lose way too much on the fees, so this is like the only way, unless we can figure out a better systematic way for them to acquire DEC, enough DEC to process these credits transactions on the back end. But that's where we're at. April 12th. I'll see you all then. Have a good one. Have a good one. Well, I don't even know how to end this video anymore. That's all I have for you guys in the video. I'll catch you all in the next one. See you around the game. Take care.